All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, El Cuco. And we're giving you all the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. Rogue Money on Facebook, Rogue Money on Steemit, Rogue Money on podcasting apps known all over the world and various parts of the interwebs, as well as Rogue Money on Apple News. Also, guys, check out our sponsors. Actually, before even that, let's check out Rogue 420, guys. Rogue420.net. Check it out. That is the site for all things cannabinoids, baby. All things cannabis. You want to check it out. You want to learn the health benefits of it, the ins and outs of it. And soon we will be having an entire store where you can get all sorts of deliciousnesses. Deliciousnesses. See, help me out, see. Deliciousnesses
No,
over there.
no, deliciousness. Absolutely. Health,
All
health
sorts of
benefits.
deliciousness will be
Yeah.
available. From CBD Butterfingers to CBD infused cupcakes and doggy treats, you name it. That's going to be the
Canna
place.
Ranchers. We can't officially call it that, but it was originally our Canna Rancher. But we'll figure something out. V.
Oh, man, I love those Cannon Ranchers. They're amazing. They're simply amazing. They're so delicious. The watermelon flavor, man. Oh, the strawberry. Oh, incredible. Just incredible. It just helps you to relax. Your body's aching. Your joints are hurting. Maybe you know, you're suffering some pain. Take a Cannon Rancher. Just relax. Of course, you can't call it Cannon Rancher anymore. We got to call it something else. But Rogue 420 is the place to be, and all those things and edibles will be up. It will also be 50 state legal, so no matter where you are in the country, you can get it. And check out remaincalm.net, remaincalm.net. That is the place if you need to get your credit score clean. They have a new credit system they just rolled out with, and that new credit system for repairing is going to be pretty amazing. So check it out if you need a credit repair or you need funding. Perhaps you want to get some cryptos, get some investments, buy some property. What the heck it is you want to do? Start a business. Banks have turned you down because they wanted to, loan you $10,000 at 30% interest before you do that. Giving your firstborn child as collateral. Check out remaincalm.net and let their network of 335 lenders help you out. Also, check out thecryptoschool.io, thecryptoschool.io. This is not about investments, it's about learning about cryptocurrencies, learning what are the best wallets that are to be used, learning how to utilize the exchanges, how to move in and out of fiat, the whole nine yards. Thecryptoschool.io. Get yourself an education over there. And of course, get the silverback. It is the best way for you to encrypt or keep your Bitcoin wallets, your Ethereum wallets. The silverback, folks, what you are getting is you're getting the high end encryption. It utilizes a custom Linux software, but it's not the open source software that you're purchasing. It is the encryption, the security, and the portability that you get. So with that being said, check it out at mygoldusb.com, and get yourself a silverback. With that being said, folks, with that all out of the way, Siege, what's crack lacking, brother?
Hey, good morning, V. Good morning. It appears that Trump broke the internet last night, delivering on his promise for the fake news awards.
Right.
V.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Yeah. No. I'm glad he did that because there was a lot of speculation. Obviously, you had all the propagandists in chief come out yesterday. John McCain, everyone saying, "Oh, this is attack. This is fascist." American people need to hear the truth and the transparency of the media. All this bull crap that that spewed out. So I'm glad he delivered. I'm glad that he released it. Touched base on so many important things. Listen. Love him or hate him, regardless, because I don't think there's any middle ground with Donald Trump. Have you found much middle ground? I think either people, there's a fine line there, and for people not to understand the game changer that this administration has been, and it's more about the movement, something V that we've talked about for over a year now.
Yeah.
And let's face facts: is that the media from day one, it's been a full out assault against the truth, against the administration. And so this is long overdue. Call the media out for what it is. They're propagandists in chief. That's all they do. And I'm glad to see him deliver on this.
I was absolutely ecstatic to see him deliver on this whole entire thing. And here again, man, is the issue. Here again is the issue. You have McCain and you have members of the media that are out there and they're like, oh, look, it's fascism. There's no transparency. They're out there talking as if the American public views them as legitimate. They're out there talking as if the American public views them as some sort of an authority in truth. They are not any sort of authority in any means of truth. They've been painted as charlatans. They've been painted as fakes. They've been painted as and totally exposed as propagandists. And yet it just shows you the blind hubris that the media has. They literally have deluded themselves. You know what it is, bro? The problem with the media is this. They're all surrounded by sycophants and yes men, right? You want to talk about cartels. You want to talk about vast networks of circle jerkers. That's what the mainstream media is. There's nobody in the mainstream media that works at any one of these media companies that says, hey, guys, we really suck. Guys, nobody believes us. Guys, poll after poll, guys, reruns of Yogi Bear cartoons have a higher rating than our cable news shows. Guys, people are watching Gilligan Island reruns more than they're watching CNN. Guys, maybe we should get off the high horse. You see, it's not about profit with these far leftist nut jobs. It's not. You see what I'm saying? If it was about profit, every single news channel will have a right of center libertarian view. Every single one. But they don't. So it's not about the profit. They're losing money. They're losing advertisers. New York Times advertising budget dropped to $400,000 after a quarter when they're typically made anywhere between 12 to 25 million every single quarter. Dropped to 400,000, 300,000. They're continuing to drop. They're leasing out the first 8 floors of their headquarters building in New York. Think about that for a second. And you think maybe they changed their tune. No, because they're stuck on an ideology. They're to a far leftist nut job. The ideology is more important than reality. You see what I'm saying? Ideology is more important than reality. So these idiots, because there's no other word for it. It is a type of idiocy or insanity, or is a type of psychopathy that I just can't wrap my brain around, CJ. And these idiots would literally come out there thinking that they have a leg to stand on, some sort of legitimacy, and say things like, oh, transparency, and we need to have the media, and be transparent. This is fascist. And nobody believes them. It falls on deaf ears. And not since anybody else. Trump is the only person, public figure, politician or otherwise, that has single-handedly dismantled and destroyed the mainstream media.
Absolutely. And it's long overdue. I know in Cliff's, it may not be the latest report, but maybe it was a couple back reports where he specifically spoke about the fact that we will see a collapse in the MSM this particular year and see a rise in news channels, news outlets like our platform, V under Rogue. And it's long overdue. People need to hear the truth. For far too long, it's been a fine marriage between corporations and the news media and the propaganda that comes forward. So I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be an epic year for Rogue and our growth and our plans of what we have. So for our fans, thank you for that. Please make sure to share all of our videos, all of our great articles at roguemoney.net. This is a year that Rogue comes out as the authoritative voice in, I don't even call ourselves, what was that term that you used? Was it the new media? The new media that
the new media.
The new media. So
we are the new media.
Yeah,
we're not the alternative media. We are the new media.
Exactly. Boom. Yeah, so it's time, and this is very exciting. to watch this happen. I think, in part where I would get concerned, because everyone was asked, well, freedom of the press, everything else like that. It's not as if that Trump is out there creating his own propaganda news network. It would be completely different if he were to say, and I know Mike Pence tried this in Indiana and it didn't fly because Pence wasn't happy with the reporting here. So Pence at one time tried to form a new branch of the Indiana government to basically a news organization. Now, I think if Trump put that effort forth, then I would say, hey, hang on a minute, there's plenty of other things out there. You don't need to create your own news cycle and your own information. And
you're coming in really choppy.
Okay, keep going. I'm going to switch. Go ahead and take over. I'm going to switch real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the awards that Trump has nominated for the fake news awards. I mean, it's awesome just to read this through. New York number one is New York Times Paul Krugman. And Paul Krugman, the man who looks like he smells cat turd, like he has a cat turd that he keeps right underneath his nose that he sniffs throughout the day. That is the disturbed, demented look on the man's face. That is Paul Krugman. Paul Krugman, who, I have an old saying, don't trust men who have multiple cats. There's just something weird with that. Okay. I mean, if I'm going to a dude's house and the guy has 5 cats, I mean, there's a problem there. There's something mentally off with this dude. It just rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, Paul Krugman is an idiot. And his claim that the day that Trump would, become president, the economy would never recover. And of course, that was shot to pieces. Let's not forget Brian Ross. When Brian Ross chokes on this fake news narrative, and he sends the markets in a downward spiral with a false report. And then we have CNN falsely reported that Donald Trump and his son, Donald Trump Jr., has access to hacked documents from WikiLeaks. I mean, the list goes on and on from, Trump was trying to kill koi fish in a pond. I mean, the most ridiculous thing. And let's not forget the number one thing, in my opinion, is the whole entire stupid Russia collusion that just does not seem to end. It does not matter whatsoever, what's happening. And while the media spend 90% of the time focused on negative coverage or fake news, the president's been gathering results. Okay. Economy's created 2 million jobs, gained over 8 trillion in wealth since the president's inauguration. Now, I went over some of the phantom numbers there. But this is what the milk bottle masses need to hear. The milk bottle masses need to hear, because the psychological impact of good economic numbers is a very powerful motivator, folks. The psychological impact is very powerful. African Americans and Hispanics are enjoying the lowest unemployment rate in recorded history. That's a good thing. You can say what you want about the damn stock market. You and I both know it's all fictitious, made up BS to begin with. The numbers don't jive. But you cannot say nothing about the fact, and Dex and I, we spoke about this. You can't deny the fact that all of a sudden, when he announced those tax cuts, CJ, boom, automatically, hundreds of thousands of corporations started hiring. They started announcing hiring. They started announcing that they're expanding R&D. They're announcing, the next bit of news that we're going to get into is going to talk about one major American corporation that's bringing its money back home to the homeland, so to speak. So this is the reality. Businesses are finally hiring. Why? Because they feel confident. That's real numbers. And when business owners and industry start feeling confident, you begin to start building a physical economy. Build a physical economy, you can start the transition from the fictitious paper economy that was built up by Wall Street. So you see how the Trump administration, I'm not saying this is all Donald Trump, that he's some super genius playing 10D chess here. I'm not saying that. But as the good guys, and what I'm talking about is the people that he has there that are working behind the scenes. They understand the psychological impact when you take the shackles off of business owners and entrepreneurs. You allow them to expand. You allow them to create. And all of a sudden, that creates a positive feeling and all of a sudden, people begin to start working again. The economy starts becoming vibrant again, and we move from a parasitic Wall Street economy to an actual physical economy. This is exactly what's happening. Okay, that tax relief is huge. Cut regulations, 2 for every 1. That mandate issuing 22 deregulatory actions for every 1 new regulatory action. It's great. The president has unleashed an American energy boom by ending Obama-era regulations, approving the Keystone Pipeline, auctioning off millions of new acres for energy exploration, and open up Anwar. ISIS has been in retreat, and we all know the real reasons why is because the Russians have been bombing the shit out of them. President Trump followed through on his promise to recognize Jerusalem as a state capital of the state of Israel. I think there's a move behind that politically because it allowed us to defund the UN, which is we're spending ridiculous amounts of money over there. I mentioned that in an earlier post. President Trump's encouragement for more member nations are paying their fair share for NATO. Finally, some idiots in NATO are starting to, catch the, pick up the slack here, so to speak. They signed the Veterans Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act to allow senior officials in the VA to fire failing employees and establishes safeguards to protect whistleblowers. That's huge. Trump kept his promise and appointed Associate Justice Neil Gorsuch to the U.S. Supreme Court. That's a huge win as well. You see, Hillary wanted a bunch of leftist judges to get in there and overturn the Constitution. That's not going to happen now. That's not going to happen now. That's a huge save. So these are just some of the things highlighting it. And see, something that we've been talking about for a long time, and we've been calling Apple and other companies out on what happened.
Yeah, this is massive. This is massive. So Apple has announced plans to repatriate billions in overseas cash fee, says it will contribute $350 billion to the U.S. economy over the next 5 years. And V, I cannot tell you how often the past 2 years we were just calling out Apple, as tax dodgers and not paying their fair share. And because of this legislation that's passed and granted it's an opportunity, but look at the amount of that the dollars are going to flow back into the U.S. economy. This is a major announcement. Apple, I believe, what are they, like the top 5 companies, right, as far as revenue and profits? They're right up there. So think of those jobs. Think of the investment, the infrastructure, and they're announcing building a brand new campus here in the United States that will create at least 20,000 new jobs. So this is a big win, big win.
Huge. And folks, every single job they create will create other jobs that are outside of Apple. It's a reverberation effect. So if Apple opens up a campus somewhere near a town somewhere in the United States and all of a sudden they are hiring people, that town benefits and prospers not only from the tax revenue that Apple will bring in, but also from the simple fact that now you're going to have local mom and pop shops that were once dormant or new businesses opening up to service and to cater towards those employees that are working at Apple. This is how it all works. It's a beautiful thing to see this, and that's a good thing. And again, the physical economy is being built.
That's what has to happen. That's that it's so important, that physical economy and our GDP and the amount of think of it, V, the last 12 years, amount of jobs that have been exported. We've went so much away from a manufacturing economy, and we have to return to that. We need to do it rapidly. This isn't something that we can sit here and wait and say, oh, this is 12, 20-year vision to get manufacturing, to raise our GDP, to focus on exports. I mean, this is long overdue.
Absolutely, 1,000%, man. We have Alabama. Alabama bill would encourage the use of gold and silver. This is Senator Tim Melson, Republican, introduced a bill, SB 156, on January the 11th. The legislation would exempt the gross proceeds from the sale of gold and silver, platinum, palladium, bullion in the form of bars, ingots, coins from sales, and use the tax in the state. Bill similar. Okay, well, basically it is this. It's to allow the legalization of gold and silver as a money. That's wonderful. Hats off to Alabama for making that happen. Only problem is, CJ, let me ask you a straight up question. How many people own gold and silver?
Not many, maybe a handful, if that, V, as far as legitimate safe with silver or gold currency. Not other than jewelry. That's
exactly. Same thing here. Same thing here. I know maybe a handful of people that have gold and silver. Now, let me ask you this question: among the younger generation, guys like us, like Gen X, Gen Y, millennials, God help them.
Oh, forget that. They've got their Xbox Ones, their
Yeah,
PlayStations.
exactly.
They've
But
got
you
the
want to know
best
something?
tech. They've got the best
Exactly.
tech, but they don't have the best currency.
No, they don't. But you want to know something crazy though? Every single one of those Gen Xers, Gen Yers, and God help them, the millennials, and heck, even thank God for Generation Z, um, they know about cryptocurrencies. Some of them even own it. A lot of them own it actually. So it's pretty funny. It's like, Alabama legalized gold and silver. They want to legalize gold and silver as money, but nobody has it. This is the problem. This is the problem. At this stage of the game where there's dwindling supply levels, okay, no one has it. So okay, you legalize it, but no one has it. So that's the whole entire thing. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Anyway, CDC cancels its nuke scare tactics because the flu pandemic is trending better. Now, see, before you break this down, I just want to say, folks, that the flu in this country kills 50,000 people a year. And I'm not trying to laugh about that. The flu in this country kills 50,000 people a year. This flu, which has started in October, it's now January going on February, has killed only 40. Okay, why the hell are they hyping this? Go ahead, Siege.
Yeah, so originally the CDC had planned talks regarding nuclear fallout and a briefing focus on something much more important. They have switched gears. They completely canceled their nukes talk because I just don't think that was trending well. It just wasn't. Nobody was hashtagging it, so they've changed, and they're going to be making a big meeting talking about the citing the out of control flu cases among the main reasons for this shift, talking about this flu epidemic that is gripping several states right now. Now, I know here it hit pretty hard in Indiana. I don't think I can recall anyone that's died from it, but apparently, when you look at several of the cases over at Health Nut News, Aaron Elizabeth, has documented cases, and again, it's only 7, but of 7 of those that had died from the flu, they actually were administered the flu vaccine. I'm not saying that directly contributed to it, but I think we have to question the timing of this, and especially from a national movement where people were really starting to question the flu vaccine and it being able to really make a difference and stating that they're completely ineffective. And now we come about with this information saying, hey, there's a flu epidemic gripping the country right now. Go get your flu shot, go get your flu vaccine. And again, I look at this, back to what was it, the pandemic, a few years ago that was starting to trend, and they utilize this as just a control mechanism. But yeah, I mean, I know that there are several cases that are going about. Is it epidemic? What's triggering it? But again, just the CDC canceling their nuclear talk and switching instead to the flu V.
Yeah, because it's it's, oh my God, hospitals like, what's happening is that these idiots are hyping the hell out of this flu. Media's doing their job, calling it an epidemic. I swear to God, it's like I stepped off the set. I'm looking at some of these pictures of these tents at these hospitals in California, CJ, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? Am I looking at a picture of the sequel to the Outbreak movie from the 90s?
And we have to remember, V, that as far as California, they've had the most draconian
Yeah.
vaccine programs out in California. Mandating
Yeah.
that anyone enrolled in the school system be forced, vaccinated. You couldn't attend school. So, and people started lining up for it. And again, this is happening, and California is one of those states that is triggering a lot of this.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly correct. And I'm looking at this map here, and it seems like the more liberal your state is, the higher the flu incidence is. I mean, New York is like blood red. California is like a glowing red.
Right.
Everything else
Well,
is lighter
they
shade brown.
target the poor with these vaccine
Of course
programs,
it does.
and I want to give a shout out to Medical Freedom is a group that operates here in Indiana, and they legislatively, like, they are like all over it, this state level legislation, and there's actually proposed legislation requiring those in public housing to go get their vaccines, to go get their flu shots, where they're going to mandate it that, in order to so if they can't provide housing for you quick enough, they'll do their best to kill you off before the time that you're going to be in those public housing sectors.
Yeah.
But it's laws like that are passing in states. So I know we focus a lot on national news and everything, but just be aware of what's happening in your own state, because these mandatory programs with mass vaccinations and everything, they do exist. And if the liberals had it their way, everyone would be lined up to get these shots.
It's more PR than science. This whole entire flu thing and flu death and epidemic and this, that, and the other. It is PR. It's mind control, for lack of a better word. All right, it's mind control. There's no other way to put it, man. It's no other way to put it. I mean, think about it. And now these guys are hyped it up to such a level, CJ, that you got people that are just coming in with hay fever, or they're sick, or they just have a regular cold, and they spike a 99 or a 100-degree fever, and they're going to the ER because, oh my God, I might have the flu. Folks, you want to stop the flu dead in its tracks. You should be, during the season from October till May. Okay, you should be on 5,000 units of vitamin D per day. Good quality vitamin D per day. Vitamin D is a flu killer. It stops the spread of the virus, supercharges your immune system. It is amazing. You should be on massive doses of probiotics per day. Lots of probiotics. That's where your immune response begins. And not to mention vitamin C, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah,
that's what my family does. We don't. Nobody around here takes the flu shot. That's insane. You might as well. That's like putting the fox in the hen house. Nothing good comes of it.
Right. Well, and not only the vaccines, but also just the amount of antibiotics that's pumped out into society. It's amazing, how you can go into a minute clinic or one of these nursing facilities, and you have a child or somebody running just a low grade fever that easily could be treated with over the counter, and they overprescribe these antibiotics that's creating some of this stronger resistance, these the modified flu, the strains that are out there, that they are becoming resistant to these antibiotics. Well, it's because we've been pumping that into society, over prescribing these meds for so long.
And that's what it is, man. It's this whole scam is basically telling people, hey, when they get sick, it's with quote unquote flu-like symptoms, that automatically they have the flu, and it's a virus. And then then what? They can go ahead and sell flu vaccines like gangbusters.
You can walk into your local CVS, and it's amazing. But you walk in and it states, "We will give you a $25 gift card if you get your flu vaccine."
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous subsidized scam in the world. Get your mercury-laced flu vaccine.
Yeah, see, pharmacies for the longest time never administered flu vaccines, and we actually piloted the program on the West Coast, and we started administering flu vaccines in the California market as a test, and it was amazing. I think on average, the flu vaccine for the people that administer it, it's an 80% margin on those flu vaccines. 80%.
Massive.
So that's why they're cranking these things out. That's why you see everywhere your Targets, your Walgreens, your CVS, get your flu shot. Come get your flu shot. You need it. You needed this. Well, I would be too. If I was making 80% margin on a good, then I'd be cranking on that as well.
And here's a kicker for you, man. Here's an article here. This was a study that was done by a certain Peter Doshi, Dr. Peter Doshi. Okay, writing in the online British journal, the British Medical Journal, the BMJ. There's something that he found out. it states like this: as Dr. Dashi states, every year hundreds of thousands of respiratory samples are taken from flu patients in the U.S. and tested in labs. Now, here's the kicker, CJ. Hundreds of thousands of respiratory samples are taken from flu patients in the U.S. and tested in labs. Only a small percentage of these samples show the presence of a flu virus. This means most of the people in America who are diagnosed by doctors, who are given this diagnosis parameter, the parameters of diagnosis were given to them by who? The freaking drug companies. Right? The manufacturers of the flu vaccines are the ones who've given the doctors the symptoms list. So the ones that are diagnosed by doctors with the flu have no flu virus in their body, so they don't have the flu. Therefore, if you assume the flu vaccine is useful and safe, it couldn't possibly prevent all those quote unquote CJ flu cases that really aren't flu cases. The vaccine couldn't possibly work. The vaccine isn't designed to prevent fake flu, right? Even the ideal. This is from Peter Dashi's British Medical Journal. This is the British Medical Journal. Okay, his article of review is the influenza marketing vaccines by marketing disease. Even the ideal influenza vaccine matched perfectly to circulating strains of wild influenza and capable of stopping all influenza viruses can only deal with a small part of the quote flu problem, because most of the flu appears to have nothing to do with influenza. Every year, hundreds of thousands of respiratory specimens are tested across the U.S. Of those tested, on average, 16% are found to be influenza positive. So let me ask you this. Between October and May, which is the supposed flu season, it's more like October through February, which is the supposed flu season. Let's put our thinking caps on, boys and girls. If hundreds of thousands of people are supposedly coming down with the flu, if hospitals are opening tents as makeshift triage units to treat people that come in with high fevers, if tens of millions of people are getting infected, but yet it's less than 16% actually are tested as influenza positive. What the hell is happening between October and February that hundreds of thousands, in fact, millions of people getting sick? What the hell is it, number one? And number two, where the hell is it coming from? I think the answer is quite simple, CJ. I think we just need to look up at the sky. Chemtrails.
Bingo.
That's what it is. It's chemtrails. I have no other explanation. Explain to me. Can I have a logical adult sit across from me and explain to me what the hell is happening between October and February, where millions of Americans are getting sick? 50,000 Americans are dying per year, and they're blindly putting a stupid label on it, calling it the flu, when they're stating that the influenza vaccine in real world numbers has only a 10% efficacy rate. 10%. And out of the hundreds of thousands of respiratory samples that have been tested on Americans, only 16% or so are testing influenza positive. So what the hell is affecting millions of Americans every year? And when did it start becoming like this? See, do you remember in the 90s, was the flu outbreak ever like this? No.
No.
Was it hyped up in the media? When you had the flu, oh, yeah, it's just the flu. You know what happened when you had the flu? Sometimes you just go into work and dealt with it. Sometimes you go to school and you just dealt with it. But now you're out of work for 3-4 days. You can't move. Your body's aching. And this, that. When did this happen? When did that started happening? When you got only 16% of the population being tested that have come back as positive for influenza. What the hell is all this other crap? And why the hell do they spray like crazy? You ever notice this? They spray chemtrails like crazy from August till now. Like, what is that all about? We know that barium, one of the things that are in chemtrails and in chemtrail particulates, is an immunosuppressant. We know that combined with the fact that during the winter season, the sun is shifted, so we don't have direct rays from the sun. And on top of that, most of us living in the cold climate suffer the worst because we're covered up. And this is why we're vitamin D deficient, which is a national pandemic, if you ask me, in America. It's marketing bullshit on the highest level, man. It's propaganda and mind control. There's no other way around it.
Right. Right on point, man. Right on point.
Anyway, brother, Kelly versus Trump, and let's wrap that up. Go ahead and break it down, brother.
Yeah, just real quick. Just this is going to be trending all over the MSM today. I think potentially this could be one of those stage things just to keep the Democrats, on their, wondering about what's going to happen tomorrow with the potential government shutdown. So Kelly was on an interview, supposedly meeting with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, when he basically stated that Trump was ill-informed and didn't really know the schematics regarding actually building a wall, and that it was really unachievable. So this prompted Trump to send Kelly back out on an interview last night where he had to clarify exactly what Trump stated. And this was leaked information. I was watching it live on CNN as this reporter came out and specifically stated what Kelly had said during this meeting with the Hispanic Caucus, and I was like, okay, where's this going to go? Where's this information? So Trump tweeted out early this morning that his opinion on the wall has never changed, nor will it. But yeah, so Kelly made Trump go on an interview last night somewhere just to clarify the administration's position. But yeah, so is a government shutdown real? Could it potentially happen? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's both sides, and again, the Democratic Party will be responsible for this, for their unwillingness to go and negotiate any type of listen, they want to shift everything to the president's hands, and it's their jobs as legislatures, whether it's the dreamers, whether it's a budget, that yes, the president has some shape in that, but they're the ones that are put in a position to go go do their freaking jobs, right? I mean, that's what they're elected for, and if they can't do their freaking jobs, then just get rid of them.
Exactly. The dreamers. I love it. I for one am praying for a government shutdown tomorrow. So I hope it does. Oh God, I hope it does. They're playing with the wrong guy here.
Right. Yep.
Trump will shut it down. He doesn't care. He'll shut it down, but he'll make sure the military is funded somehow. But he'll shut it down. Anyway, see, that brings us to the end of the show. What do we got lined up for today, brother?
Yeah, at noon. Check us back out at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hang with Harley. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cuss with Gus.
Gus, my man.
And then I'm working hard, V, to get a couple interviews released. I'm doing a little bit of editing to one because I just think that interview with Lynn. I ripped the MP3 of it. I'm going to put some pictures, some things along with it. I just, awesome. I really want that one to really resonate, with our audience, because too many people are looking at it like just a snapshot view of, okay, here's a guy, he's doing a double life sentence, but this impacts all of us, and I really want people to understand that. So anyway, long story short, hopefully we'll get that post later on this evening.
Yeah. And folks, subscribe to this channel. We're growing in spite of all the censorship and the shenanigans put out by Google. we're going by leaps and bounds. We're making some changes. We're working hard. We're doing all this on a shoestring budget with a skeleton crew. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It helps us to trend well with Google. And make sure you also hit the notification bell so that you're alerted. And man, people ask me about my voice. I think I'm literally, my voice is, from all the interviews and all the phone calls I do on a day-to-day basis, man, I think my voice is finally, I'm jacking up my vocal cords, man. So this is what I'm going to be sounding for a while. People are like, you must be doing this for some sort of dramatic effect. No, I'm actually speaking to the mic, because if I go any higher, my voice will, my usual, jovial, laughing out loud. I just can't do it.
No,
my throat just doesn't hold up.
And V, if we were going to do that, if we were doing it for theatrics, we would have definitely put some music behind it or something.
I put some music. And, I'll put on my Bane voice. That's what I'll do. I'll put on my Bane impersonation. So you think you're in charge? Yes, we will take down Gotham City. I'll do something like that, but no. Anyway, thank you all for listening in. Me and El Cuco will be back tomorrow morning. This afternoon is Hanging with Harley again. And Cuss with Gus. Get ready, man. Get ready. A lot of F-bombs are coming your way. Check out our website, roguemoney.net. Support us by going to mygoldusb.com. Buy a silverback. Get into the crypto school. Learn all about it. We're going to be offering trading classes soon. So very soon we're going to be teaching you how to trade from guys who actually trade and do a damn good job doing it. And we're also going to be also check out remaincom.net. New credit repair system has been updated because of all the recent hacks that have been happening in the bureaus. So now more than ever, check it out. Remaincom.net. All these things are used to support us. With that being said, also guys, Rogue 420, baby, that's where it's at. And with that being said, CJ, we're over and out. Take it away, buddy.